All right, buckle up everyone, because today we're diving into Squid Game Season 2. And let me tell you, it's a wild one. We've got a ton of reviews and recaps to sift through, and I gotta say, World Wonders Drama on YouTube, they always have some really insightful takes.
Yeah, what strikes me about this season is how it picks up those threads from season one. Those big questions we were all left with, but then it throws these curveballs, really gets you thinking. Like, remember how Gi-hun was so determined to end the games?
Oh, absolutely. That last scene at the airport with the front man, like chills.
Right. But then season two jumps ahead 2 years, and he's still so haunted by everything, completely fixated on exposing the organizers.
Yeah, it's like he's become consumed by this mission, almost like he's replacing one obsession with another.
And that leads him down a really dark path. He starts using money and violence, which is kind of ironic, right? The very things he hates about the system he's trying to bring down.
Oh, totally. And speaking of dark paths, World Wonders Drama pointed out this crazy scene where Gi-hun actually hires a gangster to track down the recruiter. You know, the guy who lured him into the games in the first place.
Oh, right, right. And they end up playing Russian roulette. Talk about intense.
Intense is an understatement.
Yeah.
It really shows how much Gi-hun has changed. It makes you wonder, can you really fight fire with fire?
Exactly. Or do you just become the monster you're trying to fight? But hey, let's switch gears for a second and talk about Detective Joon-ho. Remember that cliffhanger ending in season one? Well, he's back, recovered from his gunshot wound, and he's on this mission to find the island where the games are held.
Oh yeah, he's teamed up with a boat captain.
Right.
To get him there. It's like his own personal quest for the truth.
It is, and it kind of mirrors Gi-hun's journey in a way. They're both driven to expose what's going on, but they're going about it in very different ways.
And Joon-ho's investigation uncovers some seriously messed up stuff. It's like he's peeling back the layers of this whole organization, learning more about the VIPs and how they operate.
Right, and World Wonders Drama did a whole analysis on this, talking about how it all ties into themes of power and control. Really fascinating stuff.
Totally. And then there's the whole added tension of his brother, In-ho, being the front man. Talk about family drama.
Oh, yeah, that adds a whole other layer of complexity to his mission, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Okay, but let's talk about the new players in Season 2. What I found interesting, and World Wonders Drama kind of pointed this out too, is how some of them feel like echoes of those familiar archetypes from the first season.
Oh, yeah, you've got your tough guys, the older, more vulnerable player, the loner. It's like, in some ways, the game is designed to repeat itself with these familiar types.
Right. And then you've got their individual backstories, like Kang No-il, the North Korean defector trying to reunite with her kid, and Myung-gi, the YouTuber who lost everything because of his scams.
And then there's Kang Dae-ho, the ex-Marine with a mysterious past. All of their stories just feed into this overarching question of what would you do to survive?
Exactly. Would you compromise your values? Would you betray someone else?
And World Wonders Drama made a great point about how season two really leans into the psychological and emotional impact of the games. It goes beyond just the physical survival.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of survival, let's talk about the games themselves. They're just as brutal as in Season 1, but with some new twists. Red light, green light is back, but this time there are snipers involved.
Talk about upping the stakes.
Right. It's like they took something familiar and made it terrifying all over again. And then there's six-legged pentathlon, this crazy team game that really forces the players to rely on each other.
Yeah, World Wonders Drama talked about how the game design itself actually reflects the themes of cooperation and betrayal that run throughout the season. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, and the visual metaphors are stunning. I mean, come on. The whole thing is just visually spectacular. But then you've got Mingle, which is just pure chaos.
Oh, yeah, forcing players into random-sized groups and then scrambling for rooms before the doors slam shut. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and it is. It gets really violent, really unpredictable.
It's like you said, just chaos. But one thing that really stood out to me in the season is the growing tension between the players. Those who want to keep playing the games versus those who want to stop them.
Oh, yeah, the whole O's and X's thing. It adds this whole other layer of conflict to the story.
Right. It's like they're playing two games at the same time. One against the organizers and then one against each other.
Makes you wonder who you would side with in that situation.
Right. You'd think it would be an easy choice, but...
But it's not. And, of course, you have Gi-hun emerging as this leader of the rebellion, trying to convince the others to join him, trying to break the cycle.
But he's going up against some pretty powerful forces, including his former friend In-ho, who we now know is the front man.
And here's where things get really wild. Yeah. It's revealed that In-ho isn't just the front man. He's also playing the games as player 001.
Oh man, that reveal blew my mind. It's like a twisted echo of season one with the old man, Oh Ilnam, pulling the strings from inside the game.
Right. And World Wonders Drama talked about how this parallel really emphasizes the cyclical nature of violence and how power corrupts.
It's pretty chilling when you think about it, that someone who experienced the horrors of the games firsthand could become a part of the system that perpetuates them.
So now we have this added layer of suspense. Can Gi-hun expose In-ho? Can he convince the other players to rebel? And can he even survive long enough to see it through?
The tension is definitely palpable, especially knowing what we know about In-ho, and World Wonders Drama even theorized that this whole conflict between Gi-hun and In-ho is like a metaphor for the larger struggle between those who want to change the system and those who benefit from it.
Wow, that's a really interesting take. Definitely makes you think about the parallels between the show and the real world.
Absolutely. And as the story progresses, we see Gi-hun and his allies attempt this daring rebellion in the dorms. They manage to get weapons and take control for a brief time.
Oh, I know. That whole sequence is incredible.
Yeah.
But we know it doesn't last.
Right, the guards eventually regain control, and the rebellion is crushed. It's a harsh reminder of just how much power the organizers have.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking to watch. So
Yeah.
many of the players we've come to root for end up dying, some even while trying to surrender.
Those deaths are rough. They really drive home the point that these games aren't just a game, you know? They have real devastating consequences.
It makes you question the morality of everyone involved, even those who think they're doing the right thing. But in the middle of all that, Gi-hun somehow survives. It's a combination of luck, skill, and this sheer determination to bring the games down.
You know, World Wonders Drama actually argued that Gi-hun's survival represents this tiny flicker of hope, like a testament to the human spirit, even when faced with such cruelty.
That's a nice way to look at it.
It is, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
But Gi-hun's journey is far from over. The season ends with this incredibly intense confrontation between him and the front man. And, well, let's just say it leads to a major loss and a cliffhanger that left me wanting more.
Oh, tell me about it. That ending had me yelling at my screen. And then those two creepy dolls in the mid-credit scene. What was that all about?
Right. It's obviously a tease for a new game, and it looks even more twisted than anything we've seen so far. It's like the creators are saying, we're just getting started.
I know. I'm already hooked and anxiously awaiting Season 3.
Mm-hmm.
But stepping back for a minute, what are your overall thoughts on Season 2? I mean, the visuals are amazing. The music is still so effective. The games are brutal and captivating, but
But it doesn't quite reach the same level as the first season, does it? And I think World Wonders Drama put it perfectly. They said season one had this raw intensity and originality that was hard to replicate. It felt fresh and groundbreaking. Season two, while still entertaining, sometimes feels like it's retreading familiar ground.
I agree. There were moments where it felt like I was watching a heightened version of Season 1 rather than something completely new.
Exactly. But despite those shortcomings, season two still offers a lot. It digs deeper into the themes from the first season, exploring the complexities of morality, power, and what it means to be human. And it definitely sets the stage for what could be a really explosive third season.
It's interesting how much debate this season has generated. Like scrolling through the comments on World Wonders Drama's videos, you see people who loved it and others who were disappointed.
Yeah, it seems like people either really connected with it or felt like it was missing that spark that made the first season such a global phenomenon.
It's like there's no middle ground. But no matter what side you're on, there's no denying that Squid Game continues to get people talking. It's become a cultural touchstone.
And I think World Wonders Drama hit the nail on the head when they said the show's power comes from its ability to tap into those anxieties we all have about wealth inequality, social injustice, and the systems that perpetuate those problems.
That's so true. It's not just about these deadly games. It's a commentary on the state of the world, on the choices we make when faced with impossible situations.
Precisely. And what makes it so compelling is that it doesn't offer any easy answers. It just presents these complex issues and forces us to confront them. It's thought-provoking in the best way possible.
Which is probably why it resonates with so many people from all over the world.
Yeah.
It's like holding a mirror up to society.
And sometimes that reflection can be pretty uncomfortable. But it's important, isn't it? It makes us question things and ask tough questions about the world we live in.
So, where do we go from here? Well, we wait for Season 3, of course. And in the meantime, we keep dissecting every detail of Season 2, explore all the fan theories, and keep those conversations going. You know, the kind of conversations that World Wonders Drama is so good at sparking.
Exactly. That's what makes a show like this so great. It stays with you long after you finish watching it. It makes you think critically about the world.
If you want to dive deeper into those conversations, I highly recommend checking out World Wonders Drama on YouTube. Their analysis is always on point, their videos are entertaining, and they always offer these fresh perspectives that make you appreciate the show even more.
Absolutely. Until then, keep those questions coming, keep challenging your own assumptions, and keep diving deep into those complex issues that Squid Game brings to light. There's always more to discover. But while all that's happening with Gi-hun, with the rebellion and all, Jin-ho's investigation, it takes a pretty dark turn, too. I mean, he's getting closer to the island, but the danger's ramping up.
Yeah, he thought he could trust that boat captain, but it turns out he's actually working for the game organizers. Can you believe it? Total betrayal, World Wonders Drama. They talked about how this just adds to the paranoia and the distrust that's all over this season. You can't trust anyone.
It makes you realize how deep this whole thing goes, how much power these organizers have and how hard it is to fight them. But you gotta give Jun-ho credit, he doesn't give up, even with all the setbacks.
He's determined to expose the truth, that's for sure. But while he's doing that, the players who decided to keep playing the games, they're facing even deadlier challenges, you
Yeah.
know? The stakes are higher, the competition's more intense, and the mental strain, it's got to be almost unbearable.
Oh, yeah. You really see how these games are designed to break them down, not
Yeah.
just physically, but mentally and emotionally, too. Pitting them against each other, destroying their trust.
It's like a twisted social experiment. And that's exactly what World Wonders Drama said. It's fascinating and terrifying at the same time.
Totally. You see the best and the worst of humanity on display. And one of the most heartbreaking scenes got to be the nighttime fight in the dorms. The players who want to stop the games, they're completely outnumbered, but they're still willing to fight for their lives.
It's so hard to watch because they're probably going to lose. It's like World Wonders Drama put it really well. They said it's like any rebellion against a powerful force. The odds are stacked against you from the start.
Yeah, and the violence in that scene, it's brutal. It really reminds you that this isn't just some game. It's life or death.
It's a pretty stark reminder of how power works in the real world, too. When the rebellion fails, well, we see just how high the price of defiance can be. So many of the characters we've been rooting for, they get killed. Some of them even when they're trying to give up.
Yeah, the way those deaths are handled, it's impactful. You can't ignore the human cost of what's happening.
Right.
And it makes you question everyone's morality, even those who think they're on the right side.
Definitely makes you think. But in the midst of all that darkness, Gi-hun, he manages to survive again.
Yeah.
Somehow. I mean, it's luck, it's skill, and it's this crazy determination he has to expose the games. I read this one comment on World Wonders Drama. They said his survival is like this little flicker of hope, proof that even in the face of all this cruelty, the human spirit can endure.
I like that interpretation. It gives you something to hold on to.
Right. But we know his journey's not over yet. The season ends with this epic face-off between him and the front man. And, well, it's a huge loss for Gi-hun and that cliffhanger. Oh, man. It's a
Yeah.
killer.
It really is. That final confrontation, so much emotion, so much action, and so many questions left unanswered. Like, where does Gi-hun go from here? Will he be able to reveal the truth? What about Jun-ho? Will he ever reunite with his brother?
And what about those two creepy dolls in the mid-credit scene?
Oh, yeah, that was weird. Definitely a hint at a new game. And honestly, it looks even more messed up than anything we've seen so far.
It's like they're saying, we're just getting warmed up.
Exactly. World Wonders Drama, they did a whole breakdown of that scene, the symbolism of the dolls and what the new game might be. I can't wait to see what season 3 brings.
Me neither. But for now, let's step back and look at the big picture. What are your overall thoughts on Season 2? Visually stunning, the music's still haunting, the games are brutal, but
But it doesn't quite live up to the first season, does it? World Wonders Drama summed it up pretty well. They said that season 1 had this rawness, this originality that was hard to recapture. This season, while it's still good, sometimes feels like it's rehashing familiar ground.
yeah, sometimes it felt like I was watching a more intense version of Season 1 rather than something completely new.
Right. But even with those issues, season 2 still has a lot going for it. It digs deeper into those themes from the first season, about morality, power, what it means to be human, and it sets the stage for what could be an incredible season 3.
It's funny. This season has been kind of polarizing. Like you see people on World Wonders Drama's comments. Some people loved it. Some were disappointed.
Yeah, you're either all in on season 2 or you kind of miss that magic from the first season, that feeling that it was groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's like there's no middle ground with this one. But no matter what you think of this season, You gotta admit, Squid Game is still getting people talking. It's definitely a part of our culture now.
I think World Wonders Drama had a great point about that. They said the reason it's still so powerful is because it taps into those anxieties we have
Huh.
about, money, inequality, injustice, and how the system just keeps those things going.
Oh, for sure. It's not just about these deadly games, it's about the real world, too. The choices we make when we're backed into a corner.
Exactly. It doesn't try to give you easy answers or anything like that. It just throws these really complex issues at you and makes you think about them.
Which is probably why it connects with so many different people. It's holding up a mirror to all of us.
And sometimes what you see in that mirror can be scary, can it? But it's also so important. It makes you question things, makes you think critically about the world.
So where do we go from here? I guess we wait for season 3. And while we're doing that, we can keep dissecting season 2,
Hmm.
checking out those fan theories and keeping those discussions going. The kind of discussions that World Wonders drama always gets started.
Exactly. That's the best part about a show like this. It sticks with you. It makes you think.
So if you really want to dive deeper, definitely check out World Wonders drama on YouTube. They've got great analysis, fun videos, and they always offer a different way of looking at things.
Couldn't agree more. And in the meantime, keep asking those questions, keep challenging yourself, and keep exploring those big, tough issues that Squid Game brings up. There's always more to discover.